Good morning. This is Margaret from the University of Sewing and at the tailored fit. Oh my goodness. I will tell you, this morning has been a challenge. Did you have a challenge this morning getting around in Bloomington? We had quite the storm last night, and I hope that your power is on. I hope that you don't have any trees down. It was something else. I know on our street we had some limbs down. We had a section of Rogers that was closed, and the power was out around that. I hope you're all okay. We had even some water in our basement. So I hope everybody is okay. If you're not around from Bloomington and you are tuning in from someplace else, Bloomington had storms going from at least 4 o'clock in the morning on, and they were doozies. So our thoughts are with anybody who had any damage done from that storm last night. So, and I actually wondered if we had any tornado warnings because it was just so crazy. So everybody, hope you're all doing okay. But I imagine this has put a crimp in a few things for people. But there were people thinking they were going to go camping this weekend, and they were thinking they were going to do some other outdoor activities. And I think the weather is going to get the best of that. So, when you know what I think, you should come here and shop. That's what I think you should do. So, we're open today from 10 until 5. Remember, we have our summer sale going on with our BERNINA stuff. And today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some cool things we have here at the shop I thought you'd be interested in. But I have a few BERNINA news pieces for you that I want to tell you about first. So we are going to turn on Dave's phone, and we are going to show you right here. There is a new BERNINA app that is available. You can download this at, I believe, on any of the like iTunes or Google Store, and there's a BERNINA app. And so what you do is you click on that, and you get the pretty BERNINA symbol, and then they tell you what sales are going on. They show you the accessory of the month that is on sale. They give you a place where you can go online and do the credit card. But what I think is the best part of this is there's a one-spot location to get to the BERNINA newsletter. You can see what new webinars are coming up in one place finally. There's also the inspiration newsletter that BERNINA puts out that you can look at online. There's mastery workbooks available on this. There's the We All Sew newsletter blog.
And that's for everybody, right, Margaret?
Everybody can do. You know, all those sewing techniques, even though these are BERNINA related, the fact of the matter is, especially when it comes like to the newsletter and the We All Sew blog, everything in that, if you have a sewing machine, a lot of it's just going to apply to techniques and things you can do. Sure, they're going to show you which BERNINA they use and what tools they use that are BERNINA related, but I'm going to show you here in just a little bit a BERNINA ruffler, but rufflers are available for every brand of sewing machine, so this isn't like something unusual. You can get one for the brand of sewing machine you have and do the same things and use the tips and techniques I'm going to show you. And it's just a really simple tool, but it makes such a beautiful addition to the things you can do with your sewing. So I thought we would show you about that particular BERNINA app because I think there's some really wonderful things in there. Okay, so we have got, first before we do that, I am going to show you some of the cool new notions we have received in recently, and I don't think we've talked about any of these, but we just got in these beautiful Lori Holt ironing board covers. This is so pretty, and I think you're really going to like it. It's all kinds of sewing related stuff. It's got your dress form. It's got things for, you know, the sewing machine, zippers, all kinds of cute stuff. So this is something we now have available. And Dave, if you could give people just kind of a nice overview shot of this whole wall. I had a customer come in yesterday and they said they didn't realize that we had this. So I think they were looking at the fabric and they missed the notions wall. So it was pretty funny. So this has been something we did a while ago, and we're always rearranging it because we're getting new tools in and things. But this is, what I've tried to do with this is give you a really good, all of those tools that I really believe in. So for example, we have this tailor's board up here. I am a big proponent of pressing things very well, and you need the proper tools to do that. So we've got the tailor board down here. We've got a sleeve board over here.
Hey, Margaret, guess who's watching?
Who?
DK Buchanan.
Hey, DK, how are you?
Oh,
Awesome.
also, are you having a giveaway today for sharing?
I forgot. I did. We are having a giveaway, but I have to go get it. So you're going to either have to talk to people, or you're going to have to follow me going to get it.
I can follow you.
All right. So, okay, but I want to finish talking about my pressing tools. These are important. So, pressing tools. We've got clappers. We have a small version. This is probably the appropriate size for our quilters. A lot of people are showing using clappers. I'm pretty sure that they have a warning on here not to let your boy children use this, because they will get you. So they will think it's a hammer. Isn't that what boys normally do? They think everything's a hammer. So sleeve board, we have a ham holder. That's what this is. You put your ham in here. What's a ham? This is a ham. It looks like a piece of ham. But what it is it's a filled with, I don't know what they fill it with these days. It used to be sawdust. I'm pretty sure it's not that anymore. They make a wool side of it and a cotton side, and you can put this in here so you can do your pressing. And we'll have to do one of these shows just one day on nothing but pressing, because I've got all kinds of tips and tricks for that too. So we have our bigger tailor's clapper. This is probably more for the clothing sewers out there, because it's nice and big and it's super cute. It's done very well. Riley Blake has put these out. That's very nice. So we have those. We have irons. We have really good irons. We've got the Chi iron that does great steaming. And if you go onto YouTube, you can see a video of me demonstrating this iron. It's fabulous. It has more steam in it than I've seen in any other iron, especially when you keep under $100. So that's really cool. We also have some reliable irons. So that's my big push. Press your things while you're sewing. My big tip for the day. If you want something to not look homemade, press your seams as you go. Okay, so we have to go over here and we have to get, we had several people share yesterday. If you share our videos, we have giveaways for that. And so today, if you will share our giveaway, we're going to have a giveaway also. So today what we're going to give away is the alphabet zoo pattern. This has all the different letters and has a whole series of appliques that you can do for your kids. And this is put out by Kookaburra Cottage. I knew it was Australian, but I couldn't remember the name of it. So they put this pattern out. It's really cute. And it doesn't just have A through E, which is showing right here. It actually has all the letters of the alphabet. But it's really cute. So I'm going to give this away today for the person who shares. And we always take and put everybody's name in a hat and we kind of pull it out. So we will do that. So please share. And by the way, if you're not aware of this, Facebook in their infinite wisdom has made it where I can't see who shares. So if you're sharing, if you will please tell us that you did that, it will be super helpful. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the notions wall because I want to show you a couple of other things before I demonstrate the ruffler.
And before you do that, you have Debbie Bean and Vanita McCall watching.
Okay, so you guys, you're so sweet. You watch all the time, and I really do appreciate it. That's awesome. Okay, so, we got in some new patterns too, and I didn't talk about those, but that's okay. We won't do that today. But if you go on our website and you go to latest arrivals, you'll see some of the new things we've gotten in. So I want to make sure that you know that we carry some really cool Tula Pink stuff. We've got all of her little ribbon line. So this is the latest one from her line works that they have put out that I'm aware of. Maybe that. Guess what? Apparently we're having a flood warning. Sorry about that, guys. That probably didn't sound so great in your ears. So we've had flood warnings all day long, and that's probably what that is. So we have line work, and then we still, I thought these were so pretty, I got them again. Homemade, this is the Tula Pink ribbons that are based on her homemade line. It's got these really cute Tula Pink sewing machines. It's got someone actually sewing and taking and dropping little hearts. Then we've got this really cool scissors, and it's got eyes coming through the holes of the scissors. That's kind of crazy. And then it's got a measuring tape, and that's in 3 different colorways. So the one I pulled out here is the colorway they call Night. And then there is Noon, which is these pretty blues. And then there's these really fun greens, and that is from Morning. So these are all different ribbons that we carry. And, you know, Tula Pink had the smarts to show you a sample of what you could do with these. And so if you like the Biani collection, this is, I think, one of those Biani patterns, or if it isn't, it could be. It's so cute. It has just, it's one of those bags that we can make, and the ribbons make a nice addition to those. We have a nice collection of thimbles. We have the ones with the ridges on them. We have the ones with the indentation so that you can hold your needle in that. So there's a nice collection of those. We also carry the Roxette. And these are nice because if you have fingernails, you don't have to worry about using, see, there's a hole there, so your fingernail will fit in there, and so you don't have to worry about your fingernail. You have a room for it. So those are kind of nice, and they're really beautiful. Check out that blue. Whoever thought of a thimble in blue? I think that's really beautiful. We carry a nice selection of needles, scissors, including some Tula Pink scissors. We've got some Tula Pink pins. Check out these cute little unicorn pins. Everybody needs some of those. And right above that is the Tula Pink seam ripper and a USB drive. So those are really cute, and we carry those. We have some nice products like Roxette Glue and Baste It. This works really well if you want to, instead of actually trying to pin your zipper in place, if you use the glue, this glue as a basting, you can put your zipper in and have it held in place, and you don't have to use pins. So that's kind of nice because those pins distort things. We have the best seam guide I've ever seen on the market. This is a seam guide from Germany, and it is a super nice one. It's very sturdy metal, and it's got a slider on it, but it won't bend like a lot of them. So that's why I have that one. If you like to trace patterns, like if you have a clothing item that you want to copy, or a bag or something you want to copy, and you want to be able to trace it, we've got the tracing wheel with the little needles on it, and that you can use. And I have had a number of people ask me to maybe do a class on how to copy a pattern, and I think we're going to try to add that in sometime this year. So I keep on asking you guys, if you have classes in mind you want us to do. I've had some requests for some, but I'm still interested in hearing what you want to do. We've got lots of marking pens and chalk. So I have the ones that I really believe in, and I try to make sure that what we carry is not going to cause you an issue, and we know how to use them. So if you are thinking, I want to use a marking implement for some sort of fabric, and you want to know what the best one is to do that, you know, with us doing 30 years of alteration and tailoring work here, we probably used every single marking tool there is, and we can't afford to have our clothes damaged because they're not ours. It's not like something we're working on. So we've really tried hard to figure out what works for different kinds of materials and what's going to work the best. So if you have a question about that, I think we're a really good resource for that. We carry the grip it gloves and the machiners, and that is for your machine quilting or any kind of, I mean, these are really nice anytime you need to hang on to your fabric and you want to move it around and you're using like the free motion techniques. These are really good gloves. If you also have something like a Q16 or a Q20 and you have the sit down quilt version, these palm paddles that Martelli makes are really nice because they help you move things around, and they're small enough that they don't get in the way of your sewing. We carry a whole bunch of varieties of rulers. We carry Good Measure, Creative Grid, and Go and Ulfa rulers. So we have a nice selection, but we also carry some metal rulers. And for the people who like to do things with clothing, doing any kind of patterning work or any kind of long lengths, a metal ruler is really helpful. And we carry those, and we also carry the metal hip ruler. And whenever you're trying to transition, having that nice smooth curve is really handy. So we have quilting paper, the yellow quilting paper. We have something really interesting. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but we have the anti-UV spray, and this is to protect your fabric from the sun. And so what you do with this is you spray this onto your fabric, and what I would always do is test something before, make sure that this doesn't discolor anything for you. But I think that's really interesting, and one of the reasons I got that is I had a project that was put in a window display, and I thought because they had used that window display for years to show off artwork that they had that window UV protected. They did not. And when I got my garment back, it was totally sun damaged. So if you do things that are going into shows, this might be a really good solution for you. Or if you want to hang something and you know it's going to get sun damage because you've got the windows right there, this again may be what you're looking for. That same company, Odif, we also have their grippy non-slip coating, and this is to put on the back of like rulers or templates. The only thing I'd be careful with any of these products is make sure that you put lots of paper around, like newsprint or something, so that if you have any overspray, that you don't end up with it someplace you don't want. So we've got zippers for bags. We have got felt pressing mats, the wool felt pressing mats. So I've tried to carry things that you guys need. We've got a great selection of unusual stabilizers, batting, all kinds of what they call foam stabilizers for bags. So if you're needing anything like that, go and look online on our website at universityofsewing.com, and I think you will find some really cool things. Okay, the dress is going to go home after the end of next week. So just in case you haven't had a chance to see it, come and see us. We miss you. So, oh, I pulled this out because I didn't want to forget to tell people about one of the new things we just got in. We just got these pajama pants for kids. And this has sizes 5 through 14. And if you've got a child it also has this bag, and it has a little pillowcase in here too. If you've got a kid who's wanting to learn how to sew, pajama pants are fun. This works for boys and girls. And I'm going to point out something. Look at this little ruffle on the bottom of that little pair of pants. Well, I'm going to show you a cool way to make ruffles. So let's go ahead, and Dave is going to get in here in just a minute. I have told my sewing machine what foot I'm using because Bernina's like that. But if your machine doesn't require that, it's no big deal. The Ruffler is kind of an interesting looking tool. It's pretty bulky. And here's the picture on the front of ours. So, but he's going to get in here and show you a picture of the actual Ruffler. And up on the top of your Ruffler, you have several different little numbers here. One of them, we're going to put the glasses on so we can see what it says. One of them says 0. One of them says 12. One says 6, and one says 1. Now, I have seen it where the Ruffler doesn't have any numbers, so you're just going to have to test and see which one of these Ruffler positions are going to do what you want it to do. But let's start off with how we should set up our fabric for this before we ever do any ruffling. The first thing you should do is you should take and cut your strip of fabric, and you should put a hem in it if it's supposed to be a bottom ruffle or a bottom hem, like that little pair of pants I showed you. So this is my hem. Obviously, I would probably use white normally, but I thought you guys would appreciate being able to see it. So I put the stitching in black so it would be very visible. I serged the one edge, I folded it under, and I did this top stitching right here. And the other side is serged so that when I put it in the Ruffler, then I can have an edge that I can put into my seam. So if I were doing those pair of pants, this would go on that bottom. So we are gonna serge, or excuse me, we're gonna ruffle this edge. Now I'm gonna show you a couple of pieces already done. This one, I folded the fabric over and finished it that way, and you can do that. There's no reason that you can't do that. And this would be nice if you were having this to be just applied on top. Again, we sewed it with black, which I probably wouldn't do with this fabric, but again, I wanted you to be able to see it. This one was the sample I did yesterday, and I put my fabric all the way to this edge right here. So when I put it in here, what I did was I ran it right along there. Again, I probably wouldn't have it that far out, but the nice thing about this is if I wanted to ruffle this fabric ahead of time, I could then go over to my serger and I could cut this shorter, and I could have my little pleats in here, and they could be all serged, and that would probably be a little less bulky than me having this edge right here. So that's one way you could treat this. So yesterday we did that on a 6. This is set up on a 6. So today we're going to do it on a 12. And this piece was actually almost 45 inches wide. I think I figured out it was actually, I think 30, now that I think about it, it was probably 38 inches wide. So that's how much it came down in size. I mean, this is only like 18 inches now. So that was done with the 6-inch one. So or the setting of 6. Now what we're going to do is we are going to, if you have a stiletto, this would be a good time to use your stiletto. I'm going to put when you put on your ruffler onto your machine, take and use your hand wheel and test and make sure there's not going to be any problem with your needle going down into this opening. You do not want to have it, say what happened is you had, maybe your ruffler requires you to move your needle over a position or two, or perhaps you have your machine set up so that it's not in the center position. Who knows why you would do that, but maybe it's your machine, you had been doing something else and you come over to it and you have it set up maybe for a zigzag, or maybe you have it set up where the needle position has been changed. Always test by hand turning your wheel into this hole, because there's so much metal going on right here that you would break a needle and potentially damage your sewing machine if you're not careful. So when I set this up, the first thing I did was I hand turned my needle down to make sure that there wasn't anything gonna get in the way of me doing this. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to put our fabric in here. And this is what I was saying. If you had a stiletto to take and kind of help you pull this through, that would be helpful. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put mine in here, and I'm going to run it this time so this metal bar right here is right beside my serging. So see that right there? That's what I'm going to do this time. So I see that Pat Miller's watching. Hi, Pat. How are you doing? Okay, so we're going to put our foot down, and now what we're going to do is we are going to let the machine do its magic. And all I have to do, I'm barely hanging on to this fabric, I'm just guiding it. So this is what the 12 is doing. So that one is much further away. So that's what the 12 does. And I'm going to change this over, which you can do as long as you're stopped. And we're going to do it at 1. And let's see what happens when we do it at 1. I think that this kind of thing is really fun to do, to test your machine and see what you've got. So, oh, look at that. My goodness. That is a tremendous amount of ruffles. Okay, so we're going to lift our foot up. We're going to get our needle up out of the fabric. We're going to pull that out. Oh my goodness, look at the 1. I obviously needed to be a little bit more careful with that. I didn't do a good job of guiding right there, did I? So 12 is much further apart. It's about 1 inch apart on this machine. And the ones are right up against each other. And they do a really tight little, and it could have been really pretty had I guided it better. But it did the trick. So this is something that, I mean, look at those beautiful ruffles. I mean, it's just perfect. They come out really, really nice, and you can, I mean, this is just so much faster than what we would normally do to gather or to ruffle something or to even pleat something. I have used this instead of doing pleats because it's just so much simpler. So, oh, my glasses are still on. Okay. So, wanted to tell you we put a whole bunch of new fabrics in our end of bolts. That means you get 30% off of fabrics that we actually have in stock, and some of these are fairly new. And I thought that it would be nice for you to have a really good deal, because then when we get to the end of the bolt, they're done. And so I thought, look at this. We have an Australian fabric in there. 30% off. I never run the Australian fabrics on 30% off. So this is a good deal. And I hope that this showing you with the ruffler made a impression, and you might think of some places where this would be really handy. Next week, we are going to, at least on Friday, we aren't going to be in Bloomington. We are going to be in Chicago. And I am going to do Facebook Live, maybe with a selfie stick. So we'll see how that goes. Dave's going to be in a class, and I'm going to have to do it on my own. So we will see you next Friday for Facebook Live. And we always put these up on YouTube. So if you don't catch it, if you have a friend who's not a Facebook user and you want them to be able to see like this technique or something else we're doing, our YouTube channel has techniques, tips. We do our Facebook Lives up on YouTube. And we also put in there, like if you're an 880 user, we have a playlist of a recent webinar that Bernina did on the 880. Probably the best videos I've ever seen on the 880 as far as how it works and how to use it properly. And we have that on our YouTube. It's on one of our playlists on YouTube. So go take a look at the University of Sewing over on YouTube. If you own a Bernina 4 through 7 series, I show how to thread them. I show how to clean them and how to take your bobbin case in and out of that particular machine, those particular machines, because that whole bobbin thing is kind of unique. And so I show you how to do that. So hopefully there's some things in there that'll be useful for you. And if you have any suggestions of things you want us to demonstrate and stuff you want to see, and classes. Let us know. So we will be doing our next Facebook Live in Chicago, and then Saturday we'll be back in Bloomington doing it here regularly like we always do. So you have a wonderful day, everybody. Try not to get drowned in the rain. It's just crazy out there in Bloomington. But for those of you who aren't here, you might want that rain because you guys have in the West Coast, it's pretty dry out there, it's seeming. So maybe we can send you some of our rain. You have a wonderful day, everybody, and come and shop. We miss you. We want to see you. Have a great day, everyone.